Hey guys, it's me Jen catching you on DTWJ. Hope you're all having a great day. It is the lovely hour of 11:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes, I'm all the way up in the Northeast, and what I wanted to do is, even though as a disclaimer I am not exactly an astrophysicist or anything like that by any means. There are some things that I have been noticing about planetary shifts, but mostly and mainly the moon. Of course, I noticed this because the moon is my ruler as a Cancer, and there are things about its phases that I have noticed changing over the years. Back in, say, like 1997 or 98, the moon would actually go through like an entire full phase from waxing to full to waning to new. Only once in an entire month, okay? And if you guys could want to go back and check it out right over here, okay, you could watch my video right there where I rock my grimoire and I open up to a page where like I literally have it listed and have kept track of the moon phases happening, and they would only happen once a month back in that year, in that time frame in the 90s, the late 90s. Now, fast forward a little bit to say 2005 to 2007 is when I noticed this. The moon phases would actually do what I would call two revolutions. They would go from the waxing to the full to the waning and the new twice a month. Incredible. I mean, really, it's just like, wow. You know what I mean? Like, just, I was flabbergasted by it. I was like, is this really freaking happening? And I actually took notes about that. Now, I journaled it instead of putting it in my grimoire, but I did take notes of it. And I kept journaling it because I wanted to keep track of the moon. And I keep track of the moon, not just for, physical reasons, the fact that, it's that time of the month and all that other stuff. Not that that doesn't jump around anyway. I wanted to keep track of it because the moon has a direct effect on me. Well, it has a direct effect on our planet. It's what makes the water rise and recede. It's what, excuse me. And when the water rises, of course, you're going to get that fog and you're going to get that mist in the sky. And that mist in the sky goes back up into the clouds that we have in the sky, which produces rain, which goes into our crops that we grow, or our gardens. And that's what feeds us. Okay, everything on this planet is solely based on water. Without water, there is no life. And the moon controls the water, how high it goes or how low it recedes. And without the water and without the precipitation, we have no vegetation. Without the precipitation, we have no vegetation. Let me say it again, yes. Okay, and without the vegetation, our animals even that we eat, the organic meat that we eat, the milk that we drink, okay, the eggs that we eat, dude, all that goes away. Okay, even the fish, forget it, that they could die if the water recedes low enough to where like it's like their environment is no longer habitable. So we won't even have fish to eat or vegetation, anything. Without water, there is no life. Yes, I said it. But let me just go back to what I was saying. Around 2005, 2007, around that time frame, between those 2 years, I've noticed that the moon phases started to go through their course twice a month. Now, it's 2016, and I've realized that the moon phases are just wacky. Sometimes they happen 2 times a month, sometimes they happen 3 times a month, and, excuse me, good lord and lady. But anyway, this started, or rather I've noticed this happening around like 2010. It started around 2010. At least that's when I noticed it. Okay, I may not, again, be an astrophysicist, but I'm actually speaking from what I've experienced and what I've observed and what I've taken notes on. Okay, I don't have the book right here with me, but it's okay. Let me show you. But seriously, between like 2010 and this year, things have really picked up in pace, as if like the moon suddenly just felt like, opening up a can of Red Bull and grew a pair of wings. You know what I mean? Like, whee! It just started to get hyper. And I wonder why I have so much energy. That's the crazy thing. Like, I'm ruled by the moon. I wonder why I have so much energy even when I'm not anxious. Even when I'm actually calm and I feel cool and calm and collected and I'm good and I have my thoughts together enough to where I can communicate them to you, I still have a lot of energy. It's like nothing can bring me down. Nothing can beat me down. Thanks to the moon going haywire, but this is not necessarily a good thing because it just might throw our planet off track. And like I said, without the moon phases being consistent, we may see droughts, we may see floods, tsunamis. I know that between 2011 and 2012, both years, we had hurricanes. There was Hurricane Irene and then there was Hurricane Sandy. Okay. Hurricane Irene flooded us just about out of our houses, except we had, the get up and go and the energy in us to keep bailing out the water so that we could save the house, so that we could spare the basement. All right, that was a lot of work. I mean, that was like a 16-hour shift of back-breaking work. Okay, that was a lot of freaking water. All right. Hurricane Sandy was more, of winds and not so much of as water, even though it was raining as well. So we didn't get flooded out that bad, thank goodness. We had our little, sump pump ready to go that time around. We were prepared. So, I mean, like, that's the thing. We need to be prepared. We absolutely do. And this is not, the tinfoil hat section of YouTube, as some people put it. And I find that funny, actually. That's kind of cute. But, honestly, these things are happening. And people wonder why we're going through so many horrific storms and things like that. Even before the hurricanes had hit, I've noticed that we've had an influx of nor'easters. And that basically one of those is like really freaking high winds that's like good enough to take the shingles off your roof, good enough to really disfigure the crap out of trees that are around you. Yeah, believe it or not. I mean, like the trees like got to looking really funky and just gnarled. And it's the winds from the nor'easters that have done it. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever heard a nor'easter happening and how they affect trees, but I actually felt inspired by the sound of trees, and I often imitate it when I sing, Celtic style, folk Celtic, that genre. When I actually, vocalize that and I sing it, I kind of imitate that sound. It just goes really quick. It's not like the typical imitating a saxophone sound, like a lot of Celts tend to do. The sound is much different. It's more like... It's kind of like that, except when you actually put it in tune, it sounds beautiful. Those trees, man, they suffered quite a bit during every single nor'easter storm, and they have spoken. I mean, like, it sounded like they were screaming. That's how much damage that they were incurring and going through. And I'd be in my backyard and I would look at them, and I've seen how much they changed. Even their strongest branches would be gnarled and all funky looking because of how strong the winds were and how the winds would affect the trees. This all ties in together. All of this ties in together with the moon phases constantly changing, going faster, 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 slower, 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 faster, 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 faster. It really boggles the planet. It absolutely does, because this planet relies on the moon as much as it does the sun. So we can't exactly denounce or disrespect or disregard the moon and her presence, okay? Because without her, there would be no water, and without no water, there would be no life. To denounce that is to denounce thyself. Ah, not good. Telling you, Goddess is pissed too, not just God. Absolutely, I've noticed. Now, this one deli that that I would go to ever since I grew up, well, the owner handed over the deli to new management and a new owner, and the new owner happened to be Middle Eastern, and him and I were having a conversation, and he actually looked at me and said to me honestly, God is pissed. And I said, you know what, I believe you. I believe you. I really do. I wanted to say much more, but you can't really push yourself onto another person. All you could do is listen. It's probably the best thing that you could do, the best way that you could show respect towards somebody and that you understand them, is to just listen to them. And that's not just a feminine or female trait. I've noticed that Father Time, or the God, or the man is also patient and listens. Okay? It's not just a goddessly trait, it's also a godly trait. Just so you guys know. I have noticed that. I've actually been lucky enough in my lifetime to know real men and to see them at work. They don't even consider it work. They just are. They just do it every day. They're extremely patient. They understand. They have understanding, a greater understanding than most people will ever know. It's incredible, really. It is. When you sit down and you have a conversation with a real grown man, you'd be amazed at how much understanding and patience that person has, and how much better you feel after you had a conversation with that person. It's the same thing when you have a conversation with a real woman, with a grown woman. She'll listen to you. She'll also provide advice and solutions, even comfort you. That's what we do. You know, when you're grown, that's what you do. You already got your backbone established. So you don't have to fight anymore. You don't have to be angry or aggressive anymore. You can kind of sit back and relax a little bit now. And you can start to serve others. And I know that I just went off on a tangent with this baby, but I had to, because it all connects. It really does. No, I'm not paranoid. I'm not one of those, you know, quote unquote truthers out there on YouTube that wears tinfoil on my head. No, I observe things. And I experience things. And it's these things that I share with all of you. And I don't mind doing that. Don't make me regret it, because I'm a grown woman and I have no problem with withdrawing if I must. Not that I would choose to. I'd actually rather be here for whoever is listening to me. Because there are younger people out there who are learning, and they deserve us to be around. They deserve to have us around. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about what I've noticed regarding moon phases. And this video had been requested by Miss Vanita Davis, Mama, aka Mama. That's right. She's over on Facebook. If you would like to go ahead and check her out, she is right over here. Actually, I'm just going to direct you to her channel. That's where she is, okay? And just to let you guys know, that's where she is. And she asked me to elaborate on what I had posted on, excuse me, my wall. I got some gas. My post on my wall says, our planets have been going through a major shift if you haven't noticed in recent years. The full moon had already shown up too early if you ask me. I already don't like that the moon completes a visit to each phase at least twice a month. Okay, so I mean, this has been going on for a long time, you guys. A lot of people are sleeping. They don't pay attention to half of what goes on around them, which is why they don't acquire wisdom or knowledge, because they choose not to. They choose to remain ignorant. Um, you could get all the information that you want. I mean, it's at your fingertips. Just Google that shit. Okay, you could do that. But how much do you really know? How much have you actually experienced? I want you to share what you've experienced with me. Okay. It's been Jen catching you on DTWJ, keeping it real as always. Thank you all for watching. You take care now. Blessed be.